Hey everybody, welcome back to another Team Absolution deck profile. Today, we're extreme. We're Extreme Battlers. Check it out. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Team Absolution deck profile. I know I'm not playing Shadow Paladins, which is really strange, but we're going to try this. So this is my Extreme Battler deck profile. This is just kind of a fun Victor deck that I play kind of casually. I've never actually taken it to an ARG or anything. I'd love to though. I'm contemplating playing this at States, so we'll see how that goes. So, our starter, I'm probably going to lose people here. I'm running Extreme Battler, I cannot pronounce that name to save my life, Kabutron. So, his skill is GB1. After he boosts, you can CB1, throw him into the soul, stand a rear guard, and it gets +2. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that's good, but that's not Rune Ball. And I agree. It's good, but it's not Rune Ball. I like Rune Ball, however, I like this starter simply for the fact that he enables my clan. If Rune Ball dies, I'm not all that upset about it. I'm like, oh, that's an extra 5k to a column. Boo-hoo. If this guy dies, I'm genuinely upset. I'm like, crap, that's a restand I could have got. So, I like him. I think he enables the clan very well, considering we have good grade 1s that are arguably better than what Rune Ball provides. So, that's our starter. Kabutron. Enjoy. Okay, actually, he's a grade 0. He can stay here. I'll make you stare at him. Okay, for a trigger lineup, we're running traditional 8 crit, 4 draw, but there are specific cards, so hang in here. So, first, we're running 4 Extreme Battler Break Pass. No, he is not Die Kaiser. No, he is not D-Police. He is our Victor critical trigger that's all double R and foil and special. I can't say run foils because they're foils, but he is foiled. So, what he does is, he's a auto skill. Put him into the soul. When your Vanguard attacks, if it has Victor in the name, you can throw this into the soul, give your Vanguard +5k, and draw a card. This is nice because, one, he goes to the soul, which is nice. Not this deck runs soul, but if it did, if you choose to run Energy Charger, definitely a good idea. I like it because he gives 5k to the Vanguard, and considering we have a restanding Vanguard, hint hint, it's a very good option. And it draws a card, so it kind of replenishes itself. Say you had plenty of guard, you didn't want the crit trigger. It's an extra 5k that they're going to have to deal with potentially twice, and it's a new card in hand. So there's no reason not to be running it. Take that argument. There's no reason not to run it, so why not? Okay, next, running 4 of the good, the old, the Red Lightning. So, act, put him into the soul, countercharge 1. It doesn't say countercharge. Countercharge 1. So, this deck is extremely, extreme, see what I did there, counterblast heavy. So, we run Red Lightning because though it isn't great to lose the 10k in hand, there are those situations where if you only have one more counterblast, you can kill them and don't have to worry about guard. So Red Lightning is that option. He's there. He works. And if nothing else, he's a crit. What else are you going to be running? So Red Lightning goes down there. You're special. Okay, from here on, it really doesn't matter what they are. These are 4 random Nova Grappler draw triggers. If you're interested in the art, this one is Schneeregen. Sounds like someone's sneezing while saying Ronald Reagan. He came in the Blau Extra Booster. Doesn't really matter. Just draw triggers. And the reason we run these over stands is I've gotten arguments over this, so I'm going to explain it. We have to draw in resources. In Nova Grapplers, I'm sorry, you have to draw into the resources. You can't search them out. This is not a Paladin deck, so I've learned. So we have to run draw triggers to keep that advantage of I have to draw into these resources. So that's why we're running draws over stands. And the deck naturally stands on its own, so there's not huge emphasis on stand triggers anyways. And of course, run 4 heals, because these could save your life. This is Regenbogen. Regenbogen. I'm sorry, these are German names. I speak Latin, so I'm useless at this. Once again, the Blau EB heal trigger. I like the art. You can run anything as long as it's a heal. So that's our grade 0 lineup. So moving on to grade 1s, logically. Okay, we're going to start with 2, count them 2, of Claydol Mechanic on call, countercharge 1. It's good. In a deck that CBs as much as this deck does, this is free unflip. I like free unflip. I would run 4 if I had room, but we don't, so we run 2. Enjoy it. So, 2 Claydol, stay down there. You're very good. Okay, next, we're going to be running a new card from GBT06, ring 3, Exxtreme Battler Malyaki. I think that's how you say the name. That's not a German name. So, this is our replacement for Final Wrench. So, formerly we ran Final Wrench, which is a great card. Now, I think this card's better. So, his skill is GB1 if you have a Victor Heart. So, that's the only concession as opposed to Final Wrench. This one requires you have Victor, but we'll get to that. If you have Victor Heart, all units in the column get Rush. So, Rush, when it stands due to the effect of a card, it gets the skill on attack, add 4k to 2 units. So, this is really nice when you have Sazanda. When you have Sazanzas and Cool Hanks and Victors and all these other cards, this can add 4k, which ends up it adds columns, which is nice. So, I prefer this over Final Wrench. Final Wrench only gives 4k to 1 column. This can potentially give 8k to a column or 4k to 2 units in separate columns. So I really like him. I think he is a solid grade 1. He is essentially what we like over Runeball. Runeball is not this good. And next, we run 4, Exxtreme Battler Arashid. Arashid? Oh, that's upside down. He is our stride fodder. We run 4 of them because this deck lives and dies by stride. If you aren't striding on this deck, you are dying. So that's why we run him. We also run him at 4 because some of the cards we play, like the Crit Trigger, like Malyaki, since they require our Victor Heart, it is perfectly acceptable to call this to rearguard, reveal your other grade 3, and get a Victor. That is a perfectly fine strategy. We've maximized this out so you're always striding and you should always have a Victor Heart. So, good news there. And finally, we're running 4 of our GPG, Lady Cyclone. Once again, it comes down to the problem of this deck counterblasts a lot. So we need unflip. Though this can't protect rearguards, which is kind of crappy with Kagero lurking out there and D-Police and whatnot, we gotta have unflip. So we run 4 Lady Cyclones. You just gotta get over it. No inspiring words there. Just get over it. So that's our grade 1 lineup. Personally, I feel like this has a fantastic grade 1 lineup. There's rarely a situation where I draw into any grade 1 and I feel like I've drawn into a bad card. It seems like they always have use, which is fantastic. So grade 2s, so these are kind of our mini bosses. Our grade 3, don't get me wrong, fantastic card, but it's really the grade 2s that are killing people in this deck. So we run 4 of the ultimate in goodness, Exxtreme Battler Sazanda, not to be confused with Sedanza, whatever. So when he is restood, GB1, give him 5k until the end of turn. You know what that is? That's free advantage, people. I like free. So he is kind of the big burly grade 2 that we're always looking to have on the board because he can easily stand him once or twice. He hits 30k, 40k, 50k plus. He is just great to stack crits on, keep him constantly standing for more and more. I can't sing its praises enough. So there you go. Stay in frame because you're good. Next is kind of a tech option that I really like. I run 2 Beast Deity Golden Anglet. So this was not my idea. I don't pretend that I'm the first person that came up with this. I saw this over a year ago at ARG Richmond, Virginia. Someone was playing 4 of these, I believe, and I understood why. When he stands, he gets 3k. Don't get me wrong, that's a far cry from 5k from Sazanda, but this is very nice to add columns. You know, if you stand him +2 or +5, he's going to get +3 on top of that. So you can really start to make some columns if they're killing off your Sazandas or if you're not drawing into them. He is a solid backup option. So that's why we run him. Okay, next, another tech option. We're running 2 of the new Exxtreme Battler Arbor. So this one is a little more complicated. It's not as good as Cool Hank, in my opinion, but we're only running him at 2. So CB1 Soul Blast 1, when he's placed on rearguard circle, if you have a Victor Vanguard, pay the cost, choose this unit, it gets +2k, so it's an 11k attacker, and when it attacks, you can restand another unit +5k. So, you know, this is a once per turn ability. You're only getting that on attack stand once, but it's a very nice option if you don't have the Cool Hank, or if they're playing a retire-centric deck and you don't want to lose your Cool Hank yet. He's an on-call. He's great. So run 2 of them. He's a nice little enabler for Sazanda. Okay, and finally, we've been talking about him. Run 4 of the the Cool Hank. He is very cool. So when he attacks the Vanguard, if he's boosted, CB1, stand 1 +5k. That's advantage. That makes Sazanda very, very happy. So, yeah, I don't have any other words. If you're not getting the game plan yet, I can't help you. We're just going to restand Sazanda, and it's going to be huge. Enjoy it. Okay, for grade 3s, I've been yammering on long enough about this card. Exxtreme Battler Victor, arguably one of the best stride bonus cards in the entire game. His GB2 is, when this attacks Vanguard, this gets 5k, and choose a rearguard, stand at +5k. You know what that is? That's free. I like free. It's great. I have no other words. However, his on-stride skill is arguably better. So his on-stride skill is CB1, give your Vanguard the skill that when it attacks, choose another rearguard, stand it, +5k. Once again, we are making Sazanda, or in this case, even Golden Anglet, very, very happy. So, really good on-stride skill. Couldn't ask for anything better. So, he'll stay at top because he's good. The next is kind of open to debate. You could be running for Crystal Devil for the on-stride skill. However, I am running Exxtreme Battler Dan Shark. He is the RRR from GBT06. His skill is kind of meh on the Vanguard. However, it does have a rearguard skill. The rearguard skill is GB1 when it stands from the effect of a unit, so the rush keyword. It gets the skill that when it hits, CB1 retire a rearguard. Now, this deck doesn't focus on retiring, because that's not what Novas do. However, as I've learned, you will be calling that to the field, inevitably. They will be killing your Sazandas, your Aberrails, your Golden Anglets. You will have to call this eventually, and though you might not want to be using its skill, it's always a nice little pressure point. You may want the opponent to think you might use that skill. So, he's a nice little tech option. Like I said, his on-Vanguard skill is pretty bad. On ride, CB1, Soul Blast 1, search the top 5 for a unit with Rush. And unfortunately, this deck really doesn't have units with Rush. I believe the only unit with Rush, the keyword, is Aberrail, which is a 3 of. So you're never going to want to dig the top 5 and pray a 1 of a 3 of card is in the top 5. It's terrible. Don't do that, ever. but he's there for the rear guard on pressure skill. It's not bad. So those are our grade 3s. But, like I said, the grade 3s are fantastic and all, but the deck lives and breathes by a stride. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be striding a lot with 4 of Meteor Kaiser Victor. So, you know, flame me for this all you want. This is going to be your first stride. And why is that? Well, you have 2 options for first stride in the deck, aside from this. You can run Vic 10, which is on hit, stand something +5. Very mediocre. Or you can run Meteor Kaiser Victor Tribute, whatever his name is, which is when something stands CB1, retire something with power equal or less. And my problem with that is, once again, like Dan Shark, it's not that useful very often. Like, there are some decks that's useful against, like Killing Commander Laurel is nice, or Blaster Blade is nice, but that's not what this deck is going to do. This deck is going to kill your opponent by restanding, not by killing their units. That's just not Nova Grappler. I'm sorry. So, Meteor Kaiser Victor's skill is once per turn, act Persona Flip. It gets, when the attack hits, plus 5k to something and stand it. Once again, an enabler, it's exactly like Vic 10, except this gets you GB2, which is relevant. So, that's why we run. And is the GB skill, if it's your second stride or whatever, GB3, when it attacks, stands something plus 5k. So, once again, really great with the Heart Victor skill, which is already standing something plus 5. It really works together. However, sometimes it's not your second stride. Sometimes it's just your first stride to get your GB2 live, and that's what it's there for. I'm sorry. Next, really simplistic G-Zone, really. We run 4 Meteor Kaiser Victoplasma. So, as you've seen, the deck has plenty of ways to restand rear guards. Well, what about a restanding Vanguard? We've got that covered for you. So, Meteor Kaiser Victoplasma, CB2, Persona Flip, Vanguard gets drive check -1 at the end of the battle, discard 2, restand. Elegance. Yeah, I have nothing else. It's a restander. It's good. It ends games. So, you know, likely they've been draining resources, dealing with your Sazanda, and they just can't afford a double VG swing. So that's why it's there. It's good. So that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Of course, there are always combos I could go into, but, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you have the Cool Hank and a booster on board, you're gonna restand Sazanda. There's not a whole lot to discuss there. I think really the only overlooking combo that I really like in the deck that doesn't get used that much is you're on Victor, you've stridden into this, your starter's still here, and let's say we have Golden Anklet. They killed our Sazanda. We're sad. So one of the best combos, in my opinion, on this deck, tell you what, we'll make it better. How about Malyaki? Didn't see that coming. One of the best combos in the deck is to just swing with the Vanguard, or swing with the rear guard, my bad. Swing with the Vanguard, you don't boost. That's key, don't boost. I almost did it. Haha, I caught myself. Don't boost, use... We have nothing but heal triggers in the damage zone, get over it. Use Victor's skill, CB, stand, +3, and when it attacks, +4 to 2, great. Swing guard direct checks, drop 2, restand. We're going to swing again. You can boost or not boost. I think beneficially you do boost this round. So he's +3 from his own skill, +5 from this skill, and he's giving 2 units +4. Why not give it to this column? So it's let's do some math, +8, +5, +3 is +16. So this column is 32 now, which is great. We're going to swing again. Because Victor's Heart skill is only once per turn, we can't do that. However, we do have our starter. At the end of the battle, we're going to CB1, throw this dude into our soul, and we're going to stand that again. So Though he only gets +2, he gets another 3 from his own skill. So he's +6, +7, +8, plus the 5 from here is +13. And +4 from that original skill, so he's +17. And he gets to do that skill again because he's swinging again, so he gives +4 to himself again, so he's +8. He's +huge. I mean, if they've lived, good God, they must have had this damage zone if they're living through that. So, you know, I think that's a fantastic combo. It can end games, though it's a little CB heavy. That's why we run Red Lightning and Claydol. So, that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Like I said, this is a really fun deck that I play aside from my Shadow deck. I really hope to look forward to playing this a little more on the channel. And I hope you guys check out some of the videos over here. All along this side. See them? See them? Yeah, that's where they are. Got awesome deck profiles, such as my Raging Form Rush deck. Talk about an aggro deck. We've got match videos, which will be featuring this deck sometime soon. We have damage check, all these other fantastic videos. Be sure to check them out. Hit the subscribe button. Go to our Facebook page. Be sure to like. And we'll see you next time with Team Absolution Vanguard.